Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to the channel. This is the recap from the chess.com Daily Chess Championship Round 2, or at least my Round 2. This is the furthest I've ever gotten a competition. If you will recall, earlier in the year, I recorded a video where I got through Round 1. First time ever. And here I'm going to show you one game that was truly very fascinating. I found it really enjoyable. And I'm playing the top seed. Basically, if I can beat Dindus from Canada, I have a very good chance of getting through to round 3, which would be simply fantastic. Some of you you've checked it out, you know what happens in this game, but it was a very fascinating game, and that's because I was playing like Gary Kasparov, or rather, I was playing as if I was playing against Gary Kasparov, and that will make sense in just a little moment. So I began with e4, and my opponent played a Sicilian defense. I went into the open because you are kind of allowed to use open explorers, but I was also learning a lot about the open at the time. And we went into this kind of open Sicilian. He played knight to f6, knight to c3, and he played a6. And we had a Najdorf Sicilian. And I was very, very excited. If you've followed the channel for a while, you will know I can now play rook g1, the freak attack. This is what I have been preparing. I will use it someday over the board, but this is what I've been preparing, the freak attack. I just think it lends itself so nicely to being very combative and really taking the fight to black, which you sometimes struggle to do in the Najdorf with white. He played g6, I played the move g4, he played bishop g7, and now you can kind of rush with this too much, but the knight can retreat comfortably to a numerous amount of squares. So if g5, there's even like knight to g4 in certain cases. So here I played a move that's not entirely accurate according to the engine, but I thought it was fine, bishop e3. And here I realized at some point, we were following the game, Gary Kasparov versus Vasily Ivanchuk from 2002, which was really fascinating indeed. So yeah, we were following that game. Knight to c6 comes. We were following numerous games, but this was the top game that I saw we were following. f3. And now the move e5, kicking out the knight. It's not a great move, but it is played. Takes. Just to clarify, I'm Ivanchuk in this scenario. Kasparov is with the black pieces. That is what I'm coming up against. So the engine thinks I'm better, or this chess.com game review. What I saw, it didn't really seem like I was that much better. I knew I had attacking chances. We had queen d2. Now bishop to e6. And the move long castles. And this is where the game diverges. This was the final move played where we were still following the game Kasparov versus Ivanchuk, which was really interesting. Here, that game went bishop f8, which is the top move of the engine. Instead, my opponent played the move d5. And I was not happy because I could no longer follow the Kasparov game. I had to really think on my own. Of course, you know, it's not just about copying a game from the greats and looking at that in my notes. But now I've got to really think on my own. There's like no games of reference, but now it's about, do I understand the positions? And I do and I don't. So here I can play the move g5. And this is part of the calculations. This is why I'm learning it, because it seems like a good way to play and get advantage with white, the open Sicilian. But I really, really don't like it. I really, really don't. Because it is so complicated. Because obviously, the first thing I've got to worry about is this fork. So I have to deal with this pawn. So g5 is good because it kind of kicks out the knight, which removes defense of this pawn, and eventually I could maybe win it. But it's not easy. So I decided to take first, which is a miss. I should have played g5. C takes, but now I throw in g5. Because I just thought, well, now I can win this pawn. Because his knight's going to go somewhere, and I'm going to be able to take this. He played knight to h5, which is not so accurate. He should have played here knight d7. But you'll see in a moment he's obviously a much better chess player than I am. Knight to h5. And I thought, okay, he's just going to look to maybe put his knight here, but that's not a problem at the moment. Let's grab on d5. It's now +2. I'm now up material. It's great. It's not so great because he's still got quite a bit of defense of his king. And the c and the b files and the bishops are all pointed at my king. That I put there voluntarily, by the way. He decides to short castle. His king, I feel, is a lot safer than mine, because I don't have open lines to his king. He very much does have open lines, as I've mentioned earlier, to my king. So this is a huge problem. So I play a bishop to c4. I just thought, look, I defend the knight. I've always got, discoveries at certain points. But I can help drop it back and kind of safeguard my king. Add add some defenders. He brings the move, plays knight to f4, and I don't even think I play the move bishop b3. I can't remember how much time I spent on this. It was a couple of hours. Remember, it's daily chess. But I know I didn't think particularly hard. I thought briefly about taking this knight, but I was like, yeah, let's just move out the way. He decides to take. I play bishop takes, and he plays the move rook to b8. He doesn't want to remove his knight. He thinks he's doing a great job here. And the bishop briefly targets the rook. So moving over the rook and putting it on the open file where it will combine with the bishop once the move e5 is achieved is not great for me. Here I probably should play the move bishop e5. It thinks I can play bishop takes f4, just removing the knight, or bishop back to b3. I decided to take the knight, just remove it. That's the best move, but now takes. And I have a huge problem here. This is a huge problem. So I bring the bishop back, which is inaccurate. The best move, according to the engine, is to play bishop takes f7. I don't get the idea, because if king takes f7, it wants queen takes f4, and discovery on the queen, I suppose. And now king g8, and it thinks you can get this position, which is really nice. Or not rook takes? Oh yeah, because bishop takes b2 would be devastating. Live and learn. So you have to do this in the right way. You can't just take the hanging queen. You have to play queen c4 check, I suppose. Anyway, bishop b3 is what was played. Obviously, this bishop sacrifice did not even cross my mind. It did not. I was like, I'm up a point of material. I just need to safeguard my king, and I should be fine. This is a weakness. I can pick it off. He plays the move queen c7, getting out of the queen trade and putting here and putting pressure here, and all of my streams are coming through. I played king b1 because I wanted to step out of the way of this, I suppose, and, off of this diagonal, which can at times be problems, even though it's completely closed at the moment, so the thought process has just disappeared. He plays the move a5, and I just bust out a4. I'm like, nope, you can't come here. Absolutely cannot. Here he makes a mistake, but it's a pretty decent move. He plays rook fc8. Just putting everything on this file. And now here, if I play a move like rook ge1, I'm fine. If I play a move like queen e2, I'm fine. But I thought, hey, what if I got guys to the second rank and started targeting that? Because everything is safe here. I've defended everything. And I played the move queen d7 and lost the game in one move. Now, if he trades queens with me, I'm fine. You can see the engine goes right up. If he trades queens with me, I'm completely fine. But he doesn't trade queens with me. I wanted to resign when I saw this move on the board. He played the move queen takes c2. And I honestly could have cried. This move hit the board. Chestercom's made it hard to resign on the phone, which is generally where I play daily chess. I don't log on necessarily onto the website. I play on my phone. I get my phone out. I make my moves. I put the phone down. And on the phone, there's not like a resign button like there is on the website. You have to press the 3 dots, press resign, confirm to resign. So that felt like a lot of effort. I couldn't believe this move was possible. Also on the app, it's a little bit hard to do the analysis. So I went into the analysis and I checked it was possible. It was just a move I thought couldn't happen. The idea is very simple. I take the queen. He plays this. Boom. Rook takes b2. Remember, I was worried about them combining? Now, if I want to get mated, I can play king c1. And get mated in, 1. Game over. So I have to play king a1, which steps into this. And so he brings the rook back, not even to attack my queen, by the way. Not even here to try and pick up the queen back. No, to give me discovered check. So my king is forced up. Now he takes the bishop with check, and I'm here and I'm on the verge of getting checkmated. The only thing I can really do, after bishop f8 threatening all sorts of, ungodly things to me, all I can do is play queen d8 to pin the bishop. And then when he moves the rook, not even to the right square, he plays here rook cb2, but he's threatening, checkmates. All I can do really is sacrifice the queen. It's the best move. It's the only thing I can do. He takes. Now we are 2 rooks versus 2 rooks. But one king is significantly worse than the other. Admittedly, that one inaccuracy does help me. But what can I do? I bring this rook into d3 so he can't give me checks and try and defend weaknesses. But he can start cleaning up all of my pawns that I thought were so safe and are now just falling apart. He picks this off. Rook takes a2, not accurate, but I bring my rook to c1 because I thought, well, I've probably got to like go give checks and start to, at least fight back. He plays rook e2, not accurate. I give a check. He comes up, and I play a miss. Here, it's a draw. Which makes this so sad because after queen takes c2, I thought I was dead, -4. And here we have, king e7, and it's a draw. I've managed to kind of rescue almost a draw. It's like -1. Here, if I play rook c7 check, apparently this is better. And then if king e6, I have rook c6. And the thing is, I can kind of just give him checks unless he like goes all the way back to like hide here. But even this is a draw because I've got rook d8. And I can hunt him because the pawn keeps everything in. And so he probably has to give me checks by repetition. So I could force a draw. But I went rook c5. Because I thought I can try and win this pawn, undermine the defense of this rook. But here he goes here, pins my rook. I've got no choice but to take. And even though I get the pawn back, even though I get it back, I'm still down one. And he's coming in here and he's just causing me all sorts of problems. He goes, he's going to win one of the pawns. And he wins another one. I pick up a couple. But ultimately, I'm down 3 pawns. Not able to defend anything. My king finally got active. If you think I'm going to win this endgame, God bless. I defended as long as I could, but after king to c3, I just decided I'd had enough and I resigned. But it wasn't a bad tournament by any stretch. This was against the top guy who found one of the most incredible chess moves I've ever seen played by anybody. Queen takes c2. Just ridiculous. Absolutely ridiculous. Yeah. So we'll change views for just a moment. We'll go here. We're not playing opening roulette, so let's maybe hide that. The subscription goal we don't need, view account we don't need, but we do need the window capture. You get to see all of this live, plus I think there's background music, which I will now turn off. Yeah, so this is how it all looked. This is how my group at least stood out in the end. So I finished 3rd, which wasn't bad, 16 points out of 22. You can see I lost both games to Dindus and both games to Zach Roper, although I thought I had competitive games against him. I then did lose one to the 4th seed Walter Chessman and one to the 5th guy, Zol. But I won every other game from 6 until 12. I won twice. And the guy at the bottom has been closed for fair play, which is just really funny. Yeah, so this is how things all kind of ended up. After everything, you can see, I think this round is 99% complete. It was a very interesting bracket, but I mean, 22 points, and this guy as well, 20 points. You got to win the games, and I didn't win the games, but, very proud of myself, got to the second round for the first time. Hopefully next year we can get to round 3, or at least finish second in round 2. But, it'll be a very interesting experience. It's always really cool. Daily chess is always something I'm never sure about. I'm not sure what my actual ability is, not sure in terms of what you are allowed to do. I was very careful, because you're not allowed to use an engine. That I shouldn't tell you. You're not allowed to use an engine while you're playing chess. But I'm always a bit nervy using like opening databases and stuff. So having that one game kind of in my notes while I was preparing the freak attack was quite beneficial. And then to be playing effectively against the world champion, because I was playing or following the game against Kasparov, that was pretty cool. But let me know if you enjoyed the video. Let me know if you played the Daily Chess Championship and how you got on. And I'll see you soon. Cheers.